The black waitress helps a drunk billionaire get home. 1 week later, she becomes the hotel owner. What if a black waitress working double shifts at a luxury hotel had the chance to manage one of the richest hotel chains in New York City? What if the billionaire who offered her the job was the very man whose family empire was built on corruption and exploitation? Camille Turner, 26, is a shadow in the glittering world of New York City's Grand Meridian Hotel. Her days blur into a relentless cycle. Double shifts, sore feet, and forced smiles for guests who barely acknowledge her existence. The Grand Meridian is a beacon of opulence, where billionaires sip $500 cocktails and penthouse suites cost more than her yearly rent. To them, Camille is just another black waitress in a crisp white shirt, balancing trays of champagne flutes and dodging their careless elbows. Her life is a tightrope. She lives in a cramped Brooklyn apartment with her mother, Grace, whose diabetes has worsened, chaining her to a hospital bed more often than not. Medical bills stack up like a cruel game of Jenga, threatening to topple Camille's fragile existence. She dreams of escape, of college, of a career where she's not invisible, but the service industry is a trap, and she's caught in its jaws. Camille is no stranger to hardship. Growing up in Bed-Stuy, she learned early that the world doesn't bend for people like her. Yet, she carries a quiet strength, honed by years of navigating microaggressions and outright disrespect. Her co-workers call her the Rock, always calm, always kind, even when a guest snaps their fingers or leaves a $2 tip on a $200 bill. But beneath her composure, a fire simmers. She wants more. She deserves more. One sweltering August night, Camille's shift stretches past midnight. Her feet throb in her worn-out flats, and her apron is stained with red wine from a clumsy guest. She's clearing tables in the hotel's rooftop bar when her manager, a wiry man named Tony, pulls her aside. "Camille, I need you to do something," Tony says, his voice low. "One of the VIPs is indisposed. Penthouse level. Get him to his suite, make sure he's safe. Don't screw this up." She nods, swallowing her exhaustion. VIPs are code for trouble, entitled, often drunk, always demanding. But she can't say no. Her job is all she has. The penthouse elevator hums as it ascends, the mirrored walls reflecting Camille's tired eyes. Beside her stumbles Samuel Warren, 34, heir to the Warren Hotel Group, which owns the Grand Meridian and a dozen other luxury properties worldwide. He's a mess, hair disheveled, shirt untucked, a half-empty glass of bourbon sloshing in his hand. His reputation precedes him, a playboy who parties harder than he works, a tabloid darling with a trail of broken hearts and bad decisions. Nice place, huh? Samuel slurs, leaning against the elevator wall. His blue eyes, glassy but sharp, flicker toward her. "You ever get tired of this?" Camille keeps her gaze forward. "It's a job, sir." He chuckles, a bitter sound. "A job. Right. Bet you see all kinds of crap up here." She doesn't respond. She's learned to stay silent with men like him. They talk to fill the void, not because they care. The elevator dings, and she guides him down the plush hallway to his suite. His arm is heavy on her shoulder, his cologne overwhelming. She unlocks the door, helps him to the leather sofa, and sets a glass of water on the table. "Get some rest, Mr. Warren," she says, turning to leave. "Hey," he calls, his voice softer now. "What's your name?" "Camille," she says, hesitating. She expects a lewd comment, a proposition. Instead, he just nods. "Thanks, Camille." She closes the door, the click echoing in the quiet hall. "It's nothing," she tells herself. "Just another night, another drunk guest." She heads back to the bar, unaware that Samuel Warren is still staring at the door, her name lingering in his mind like a rare melody. A week later, Camille is wiping down tables during a rare lull when Tony storms in, his face a mix of disbelief and irritation. "Turner, you're wanted upstairs. Executive office. Now." Her stomach drops. The executive office is a place for firings or warnings, not praise. She smooths her apron, her mind racing. Did she mess up a VIP order? Spill something? Offend someone? The office is a stark contrast to the chaos of the hotel floor. Mahogany desk, floor-to-ceiling windows, the Manhattan skyline glittering beyond. Samuel Warren sits behind the desk, sober and polished in a tailored suit. He looks different, almost human, but his presence still commands the room. "Camille, right?" he says, gesturing to a chair. "Sit." She perches on the edge, her hands clasped tightly. "Is something wrong, Mr. Warren?" He leans back, studying her. "You helped me last week. Most people would have left me to crash and burn, maybe snapped a photo for the tabloids. You didn't. Why?" She shrugs, uncomfortable under his gaze. "It was the right thing to do." He laughs, but it's not mocking. "The right thing. You know how rare that is around here." He slides a folder across the desk. "I've got a proposition. I need someone I can trust to run one of our smaller properties. The Meridian Plaza, downtown. It's a fixer-upper, but it's got potential. I think you're the person for it." Camille blinks, her mind struggling to process. "Run a hotel? Sir, I'm a waitress. I don't have experience." "You've got something better," he interrupts. "Integrity. And you know this business from the ground up. I've checked your file, high school valedictorian, college courses before you had to drop out to care for your mom. You're smart. You'll learn the rest." Her mouth goes dry. This is a dream, a hallucination. People like her don't get offers like this. "Why me?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Samuel's smile fades. "Because I'm tired of being surrounded by sharks. You're different." She leaves the office in a daze, the contract clutched in her hands. That night, she sits at her mother's bedside, reading the terms aloud. Grace, frail but fierce, grips her hand. "Baby, this is your shot," Grace says. "But be careful. Men like him always want something." Camille nods, her heart pounding. She signs the contract, her signature a leap into the unknown. The Meridian Plaza is a faded gem, its Art Deco lobby dulled by years of neglect. Camille steps into her role as general manager with a mix of awe and terror. Her office is small but hers, with a desk, a computer, and a view of the bustling street below. She's given a crash course in hotel operations, budgets, staffing, guest relations, but the real challenge is the culture. The staff, mostly people of color like her, are wary of this young black woman in a suit. The executives, mostly white and male, dismiss her as a token hire, a publicity stunt. Camille throws herself into the work, determined to prove them wrong. She walks the floors, learning names, listening to complaints. She notices things the higher-ups ignore: overworked housekeepers, outdated equipment, unfair schedules. She pushes for changes, small at first, better breaks, new linens, but each victory feels like a battle. At home, her life shifts. The salary is life-changing, enough to cover her mother's treatments and move them to a better apartment. But the cost is steep. She's rarely home, and the stress gnaws at her. Imposter syndrome creeps in, whispering that she doesn't belong, that she's a fraud in a borrowed suit. Samuel checks in weekly, his visits a mix of encouragement and pressure. He's charming, disarming, but there's a distance to him, a guardedness Camille can't penetrate. She senses he's testing her, watching for weakness. Their conversations are professional, but there's an undercurrent, a spark neither acknowledges. 3 months in, Camille stumbles onto something that shatters her illusion of progress. While reviewing old financial records, she finds discrepancies: large sums funneled to shell companies, contracts awarded to firms with no credentials. She digs deeper, staying late, cross-referencing files. What she uncovers is a web of corruption woven into the Warren Hotel Group's foundation. Embezzlement, kickbacks, and worse. The company has systematically underpaid and exploited its low-wage workers, many of them black and Latino. Promotions are skewed toward white employees, and complaints of racism are buried. The worst blow comes when she finds a memo from Samuel's father, Richard Warren, outlining a plan to gentrify the neighborhoods around their properties, displacing long-time residents. The Meridian Plaza is next on the list. Camille is sickened. This isn't just greed, it's betrayal. The workers she's fought for, the communities she comes from, are pawns in a game she's now part of. She confronts Samuel, her voice shaking with anger. "Is this what you wanted me for?" she demands, slamming the memo on his desk. "To clean up your family's mess?" Samuel's face hardens. "I didn't know the extent of it," he says. "My father, he's old school. I'm trying to change things, Camille. That's why I brought you in." She wants to believe him, but trust is a luxury she can't afford. "Then help me fix it," she says. "Or I'm out." He hesitates, and in that moment, she sees the truth. He's complicit, even if indirectly. The empire is his inheritance, and he's not ready to burn it down. Camille is torn. Exposing the corruption would be justice, but the cost is staggering. She'd lose her job, her reputation, maybe her safety. The media would crucify her, painting her as ungrateful, a troublemaker. And what about her mother, who depends on her? Yet staying silent means betraying everything she stands for. She seeks counsel from Grace, who listens quietly before speaking. "You've got power now, Camille. Use it. But don't let it use you." Inspired, Camille devises a plan. She begins quietly, building alliances with key staff, housekeepers, maintenance workers, desk clerks. She leaks evidence to a trusted journalist, ensuring anonymity. She pushes for internal reforms, using her authority to protect vulnerable employees. It's a high-wire act, balancing loyalty to her roots with the demands of her role. Samuel notices her shift. Their relationship, once warm, grows strained. He warns her to tread carefully, but there's a flicker of respect in his eyes. He's caught in his own web, torn between family loyalty and the woman who's forcing him to face the truth. The journalist's exposé drops like a bomb. Headlines scream of the Warren Hotel Group scandals, and the public outcry is swift. Protests erupt outside the Grand Meridian, workers demanding justice. Richard Warren, furious, vows to find the leak. Suspicion falls on Camille, but she's covered her tracks. At a tense board meeting, Richard confronts her. "You think you're untouchable because my son's soft on you," he sneers. "You're nothing without us." Camille stands, her voice steady. "I'm everything without you. I'm the people you've stepped on to build this empire. And we're done being invisible." She walks out, heart pounding, unsure if she's just ended her career. Samuel follows, catching her in the hallway. "You did this," he says, not accusing but awed. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I needed to know you'd stand with me," she replies. "Will you?" He doesn't answer, and that's answer enough. Days later, Camille is summoned to a private meeting with Richard. She expects a firing, maybe a lawsuit. Instead, he offers a deal: stay silent, keep her job, and receive a 7-figure payout. It's a bribe, dressed as generosity. The twist is devastating. Samuel knew about the offer and didn't warn her. He's chosen his family over her, over justice. The betrayal cuts deep, shattering the trust she'd tentatively built. Camille refuses the money. She goes public, testifying at a city council hearing about the Warren Group's practices. The fallout is brutal: lawsuits, investigations, her name dragged through the mud. But it's also liberating. Workers rally behind her, and the Meridian Plaza becomes a symbol of resistance, its staff unionizing under her leadership. 6 months later, the Warren Hotel Group is a shadow of its former self. Richard steps down, and Samuel takes over, promising reforms. He reaches out to Camille, offering to reinstate her, but she declines. She's found her purpose. Camille starts a nonprofit, mentoring young women of color in hospitality, teaching them to navigate and disrupt the industry. The Meridian Plaza, now worker-owned, thrives under new management. She visits her mother, who's healthier now, and they laugh over dinner, the weight of survival lighter. One evening, Camille stands on the Brooklyn Bridge, the city's lights stretching before her. She's not rich, not powerful, but she's free. She's Camille Turner, and she's rewritten her story, not as a fairy tale, but as a fight for something real. Camille's journey is a raw, human exploration of identity and resilience. Her struggle with imposter syndrome, her betrayal by Samuel, and her courage to risk everything resonate deeply, mirroring the real-world battles against systemic inequity. The story's pacing, slow burns of character growth, sharp spikes of conflict, and a gut-punch twist, keeps viewers hooked. The ending, neither tidy nor tragic, offers hope grounded in reality, urging audiences to root for Camille and return for more stories of ordinary people defying impossible odds.